Hey there everybody, welcome back to my Thaumcraft guide. How you doing today? I hope you're doing fine. Today we're going to be looking at basic artificing. Now artificing is going to require that we use the arcane work table. I've already went ahead and unlocked all the recipes for the work table, so we can just go ahead and jump right into that today. First off, we're going to take a look at magical building blocks. You have two different kinds of magical building blocks you can create. You have arcane stone blocks and arcane wood blocks. Now in order to create them, first you need the arcane work table, and you need to put your wand into the slot here. Now let's start off with the wood blocks. You can create the wood blocks out of either regular logs or greatwood logs. Regular logs is going to take 9 of them, and you'll get 2. It also uses up some viz from your wand. Right now though it's still holding 50. Alternatively, you can use greatwood logs. This only requires 4, and you get a wood block per log. So it's a much more efficient recipe. And next is the stone ones. 5 stone and 4 thaumium ingots, and you get 8 arcane stone blocks, which I went ahead and used to kind of decorate this area before we started the last episode. Not really the best building material, honestly. Alright. Now, the other things we can create. We can create enchanted fabric, which so far is only used in creating these robes I'm wearing. Oops, I'm not wearing them. Darn it, I forgot to grab them. My mistake. Let's go ahead and take off that mask too. Get them out of here. There you go. Nice thaumaturgist robes. For the thaumaturgist who prefers to stay in his little lab. Anyway, moving on. You can also create a thermometer. Now the thermometer has a little interface in it which points out where the nearest node is at. And I believe it was the black one that points? No, it's gotta be the blue one. Yes, it's gotta be the blue one because that's pointing at that silverwood tree, and should be pointing at its aura node right now, which is usually in the second block of the trunk. In fact, walking around it, it continually points at the tree, except for this spot where it spins around. Not sure why it does that. It's kind of weird. Nope, not pointing at it. Not pointing at it. Okay, enough of that. Oh, and if you want to know how you create the thaumaturgist robes, it's pretty much like any other armor, just use the enchanted fabric instead of normal armor bits. Alright, so the next step that we're supposed to take now is to create an arcane infusion table, or is it just called an infusion table? And it's called a mystical construct. Or an infusion altar. That's what it is. For that, we're going to need my wand back, first of all. And we need to put 4 arcane stone blocks down. Then you right-click on it with your wand, and it becomes your infusion altar. Now, the important thing to note about the infusion altar is that you're going to have it in a pretty close proximity to your crucible to start with. Later on, you'll be able to actually create a much more efficient workshop for it. But for now, we have to use it here. Now, the first thing you're going to actually be able to use your infusion altar for is to create a new wand. You can create this new wand after you've researched the unified Thaumic field theory. That requires a wand of the apprentice and each one of the elemental shards. Now, the trick about that is you're going to need a second wand, I believe. Now, was it water then fire or fire then water? We'll find out in a moment. Alright, now here's an interesting part of the interface. Once you put a recipe in here that you can create, it's going to tell you you need extra essences to create it. In order to get these extra essences, you have to actually throw the essences into your crucible, at least to start with. There's a much more efficient way of doing it later. Oops, I was already in the right tab. Since I'm in creative mode, I'm just going to go ahead and cheat, grab a couple bottles of the right essence, and throw them in. With that done, we now have the right amount of essence, but we need a second wand in order to actually craft it. And there we go. Now here's the part I find very amusing. When you have the essences in here, it's going to start drawing the right essence towards the infusion altar. This is mostly a cosmetic effect. It's not actually draining the essence from the cauldron at all. But when you create the recipe, it will. As you see, no more essence and the thing had to be refilled. But now we have a wand of the adept, which holds 5 times as much viz as your apprentice wand does. It also is used in the creation of a few items we are about to discuss right now. The 5 wands you see here. I'm going to go ahead and research those quick and get back to you in just a moment. Welcome back. Got all the wands researched, and a few bonus things as well. But we're just going to start with the wands for now. And the first one we're going to start out with is the Wand of Equal Trade. Now the Wand of Equal Trade is kind of a construction wand. We'll actually go outside for this. Now let's say I want to get rid of all this gravel. Normally you'd have to go and dig it all up and place what you want in its place. However, with the Wand of Equal Trade, you can simply find a block of the material you desire to be in its place, hold shift and right click on that block, and that block is now assigned to your wand. There. For some reason you can't break a block with the Wand of Equal Trade while you're in creative mode. Anyway, now simply right click on the blocks you want to replace, and it will replace them. However, there are rules to this. If a block does not have any side of it open to air, or a non-solid block like let's say a half slab or glass, the wand will not replace it. As you see, it is still gravel. You also have to have the material you want to replace. You also have to have the material you want replacing the material you're replacing in your inventory. If you run out, your wand will simply stop its operation. Moving on, we have a wand that does kind of the opposite of the Wand of Equal Trade. In the fact that it is more like a shovel and a pick combined. The Wand of Excavation. And it does exactly what it says. It excavates. Now, it does have a limit to its range. Here we have 4, 5, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We have 11 blocks. Yeah, let's hop down to the same level. And right before the 11th block is where it stops, a range of 10. Which makes it pretty easy to get materials that are kind of out of reach. However, you cannot put things like fortune on this wand, I believe. But there are enchantments for the wands. And specifically for the wand of excavation and equal trade, there is treasure, which functions like the fortune enchantment. You can use your wand of equal trade for mining if you want. And if you have the treasure enchantment on a wand of equal trade and are equal trading redstone or coal or diamonds, you'll probably get more diamond drops. Or redstone or coal, whatever you're using it for. Now we'll see the wand of excavation again a little bit later. For now, we're going to move on to weapon type wands. We have the wand of fire, the wand of lightning, and the wand of frost. Each one is bound to a particular element. I'm pretty sure you can guess which ones. Yeah, we're just going to go ahead and go to this little area I set up to demonstrate these wands specifically. This is just a small contraption I made specifically for the purpose of creating a bunch of zombies very fast. And we're going to have to switch over to, well, let's do normal mode. Most people play on that. Oh, and there comes some zombies already. Simply push the button and whole bunch of zombies ready to demonstrate. And my god, that is obnoxiously loud. I'm just going to turn the sound off. It might not be loud for you. It's kind of directly in my ear though. Anyway, the wand of fire, we'll show that one first. Now, if you just give it a quick tap, it sends out a very small blast of fire. If you hold down right click, you can blanket this entire area pretty fast. Now the initial damage it does count as you doing damage, so mobs will drop experience. However, if they died to the overtime burning effect, they will not drop any experience. See, there we have some dropping experience. The rest, not yet. Alright, some of them have died to the overtime effect. Actually, it seems most of them are dropping experience now. They didn't used to. Come on, burn up already. I need this area cleared out for the next group. There you go. I just want to get rid of all these items so there's not a whole bunch of lag issues at all. There we go. All cleared out. Now one thing I do find kind of funny with this wand is you can actually set Endermen on fire without alerting them to you doing the damage with it. And most likely you'll never see them again because they will disappear completely. Alright, moving on, we're going to test out the wand of lightning. Next group of zombies, please step forward. Now the wand of lightning is a much more direct attack. It also scatters pretty nicely as well. But does not hit nearly as many zombies as the wand of fire does. However, it does keep your enemies pretty far away. One thing this wand of lightning is pretty good for is if you're fighting a group of slimes, it tends to tear through those pretty fast. Its range is also pretty decent, it would seem. Not quite enough to hit that skeleton over there, but enough to hit the guys pretty close to the wall. Let's see, how big a range is that anyway? Let's see, we're starting at 1246. And the wall is near 1227, so about 20 blocks maybe? Give or take a couple? Alright, that's enough of that. Burn, zombies! You're in my way again. Alright, zombie mess taken care of. And the last one is the Wand of Frost. Now the Wand of Frost is a little bit different. Weak blocks can be destroyed by the wand's projectiles, which look like that. And that includes things like leaves or glass. Now, I haven't actually gotten to test this Wand of Frost too extensively, so this is going to be kind of a first look at it for me when it comes to actual combat. See, projectile seems to immediately disappear once it hits enemy mob. So it's not really that great at crowd controls. Crowd control, not controls. And the ice that lays on the ground doesn't do any damage to anything. So against a large group of zombies like this, not the best thing. Really, this is more of a one-on-one dueling kind of wand. But it's got another effect to it. When it comes to water, you know how slow it is to swim across it. Well, with the Wand of Frost, you can kind of make a pathway. As soon as the Wand of Frost projectile touches the source block, it immediately freezes it. This can give you a lot nicer of a bit of transportation across a large ocean. Or, if you really like to make mob farms, you have a way of speeding up your items as they're going through the farm. Now, as I mentioned earlier, wands have enchantments specifically for them. There's Potency, which increases damage, range, or area. Frugal, which increases their durability, really. And Charging, which lets them recharge themselves. Now that's something that I couldn't actually demonstrate while I'm in creative mode. However, if I go ahead and hop to survival for a moment. This wand isn't actually losing anything. Now there's this wand. Why aren't you losing any durability? Oh, there you go. You see, this wand has lost some of its durability now. However, hey, get off me. Get off me. Okay. Now, if I use any eye to bring the wands over here, these things can get the repairing thing as well. I think that might be a small issue with the NEI interface. I don't think you can normally get repair or treasure on these wands, because that would make wands with this enchantment retain some of the features of the casting wand they are crafted from and will recharge themselves from the aura. Yeah, I don't understand either, Spider. Hey! What the? Hey! Stop that! Oh yes, I forgot to mention. There are a few different enemy types you will find in Thaumcraft 3. One of them is these annoying wisps, which tend to zap you with lightning. There you go. I thought it was you that hit me. Anyway, let's take a look at a Potency 3 Fire Wand. I can't really tell if it's a much bigger area. And we'll give you charging as well, and we'll see what happens. Potency and charging. Yeah, it's doing that thing like a normal wand does, where it recharges itself with Viz. In fact, the fire wand's almost completely filled up again. So I wonder if this has an increased range then. Not that I can tell, but it does look like it's casting a lot faster. Oh, that is an increased range. Hey Slime, what's happening over there? Oh, that was fun. Now, you might think that this wand of fire is a danger to trees. Well, it's not. It doesn't set any of the terrain on fire. I was hoping for an extended range on this fire wand. Doesn't seem to be the case. I'm going to go ahead and grab the next set of items, and I'll meet you right back here. And we're back again. Alright, so these items are actually made using the wands. And I realized I forgot to mention one thing, and that's how you craft the wands. In order to craft the wands, you need a wand of apprentice, plus the respective Viz shards, and elements in your crucible. So water, ice, air, fire, earth, and magic. It's pretty self-explanatory. But then on top of the wands, you can create better tools out of the wands. Because after all, if you're going to have magical tools, you might as well have super magical tools. And each one is made with their respective wand, and so on and so forth. So first off, we're going to look at the Axe of the Stream. Now, the Axe of the Stream doesn't function quite as a normal axe does. Normally with an axe, you start chopping a tree down, and you just chop the block that you're aiming at. However, with an Axe of the Stream, it will take the farthest block of the same type as what you're chopping and start chopping that. So if I do it on a silverwood tree here, notice how none of this, it's not chopping right here. And there's a bunch of bubbles showing up. Well, those bubbles showing up are actually blocks being chopped further up the tree. And I do have some in my inventory now, because as I'm chopping it, the wood is trying to find its way to me. Which it could if there weren't all these leaves in the way. So let's just keep on chopping. In fact, let's chop faster. Oh, there you go. If you hold right click, you chop at a significantly increased rate. And to show how ridiculously fast this can be, I'm going to demonstrate it on some junglewood trees. Now, I did a little bit of pre-planning for this one, and I made a junglewood tree all the way over here. Now, what we should see is that as I'm chopping the log over here, the tree over there should disappear. And we're just going to use right-click to chop as fast as possible. Now, you do use up your axe's durability a lot faster using the speed chopping. However, I believe it'll be worth it in this case. Let's see which tree pops down first. Oh, yep, as you see, the furthest tree started getting chopped. However, it stopped because it started chopping this log as well. So keep in mind, if you're going to be chopping down a huge forest of trees, you probably want to connect them all at the roots. Moving on, because I believe that there's nothing else I can demonstrate with the axe of the stream. Actually, there's one more thing I wanted to test. Does it do the same thing on normal wood? Nope. Only on natural wood. Okay. So that's a lot different than what was in Thaumcraft 2. I remember losing an entire house to this axe. I'm glad that is tweaked. Anyway, next up we have the pickaxe of the core. Now, the pickaxe of the core's main function is when you're mining ores. When you're mining them, you have a chance of receiving that funny looking item, which is a native cluster. Now, a native cluster is essentially 2 ores in one. You get double ingot drops from it. And since you get your ores normally from mining, I believe you can go ahead and just replace these and, yep, you can keep on digging out the same ores and get ore clusters. Although you will use up your pickaxe's durability a lot faster doing that. Next up, Shovel of the Earth Mover. Now, Shovel of the Earth Mover basically functions like a normal shovel, except it digs out a 3 by 1 hole. It also will pull items towards you, although not perfectly, it would seem. Now, you can also use the Shovel of the Earth Mover kind of in the same way as the Wand of Equal Trade. If you right-click on a block and you have similar blocks in your inventory, it will place down a 3 by 1 block centered on the surface you clicked on. If you click on the side, however, it will only put down a 2 by 3 by 1 centered on the side of the block you clicked on. Basically, it'll do its best to create a 9-block square centered where you clicked. Next up, we have the Hoe of Growth. The creeper's in an irritating spot. Alright, the Hoe of Growth, when you right-click on the ground with it, will till a 3 by 3 area. If you right-click on a crop, it will function like bone meal. It also has the added benefit of being able to grow silverwood trees and greatwood trees, which you normally cannot grow using bone meal. So that is a very nice feature. And next up is the Sword of the Zephyr. Now, the best way for me to test this one out, let's go ahead and tweak this down a bit, because I don't want a huge group of mobs. Oop, little bit of lag doing that. Now, here's a good thing I can show you. If you right click with this, you can push enemies and items away. Get dead. Which means I should be able to jump into the zombie pit with no problem at all. Oops, I forgot to jump. And now there's a skeleton that's going to interfere with my jumping. Go away. Anyway. Into the pit we go before the creeper blows me up. Now, holding right click, I can stand here perfectly fine. I will not die at all. This is an ill thought out plan, by the way, so I don't recommend you ever do this. Okay, now that we're back to New Corner. Now, the Sword of Zephyr is supposed to also be able to hit multiple enemies at the same time. Let's try that out. Yep, as you saw, it does hit multiple enemies at the same time. However, it doesn't do anything to protect you from a giant zombie horde. Well, that's all the tools I'm talking about today. See, next time I need to get myself a new Thaumanomicon because mine's currently in the zombie pit. Let's see, next time, what should we talk about? I've already covered golems in another video, so if you want to take a look at golems, go ahead and click this flashing golem symbol right now. So next time we're going to actually go into, well, making a better laboratory, I suppose. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and fave, and I'll see you next time. Take care, and goodbye.